My. Say Africa!
Africa!
That was a fantastic
performance.
My goodness. Please, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause.
It was really fantastic. I almost want to break out into another dance. Don't worry, I won't.
No, not yet. We can do that later in the evening. History teaches us that transformation rarely happens by accident. It happens when leaders combine vision with the political will to turn policy into institutions and resources into opportunity. Think of Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan of the UAE, who channeled oil revenues into schools, hospitals, and infrastructure, creating a legacy beyond hydrocarbons. And here on our continent, in this beautiful land of South Africa, Nelson Mandela showed how moral courage and wise stewardship can frame a nation's destiny.
Sabah al-khair, ahlan wa sahlan. As most of you know, I come from Cairo, and while I stand 9,600 kilometers, I googled that by the way, away from my city, I'm currently not 600 kilometers from my home, because Africa, this continent that we share, is home to all of us. It's not only the home that holds our heritage, but our future of energy, security, prosperity, innovation, and this why, in this year's Energy Week, we commit to positioning Africa as a true global energy champion.
Over the coming 3 days, we will open the floor to honest conversations about the challenges shaping our social into tangible results.
And what makes this gathering unique, look around Richmond.
Absolutely.
We have a huge diversity here. We have policymakers sitting alongside investors, innovators, community leaders, all bringing global perspective to meet African realities. And here we begin to bridge this gap between vision and implementation.
Absolutely. So whether you have traveled from across the continent, from Cairo to Lagos, Luanda to Harare, or anywhere around the world, your presence here affirms the importance of this mission. As we begin, let us listen critically, ask boldly, and build practically. Because today, ladies and gentlemen, we do more than talk about energy. We engineer pathways to prosperity.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, this week is more than just a conference. It's a call to action. And we need these confident decisions and commitments and these partnerships forged here in Cape Town to ripple beyond these walls and shape not only Africa's future, but contribute to global energy security.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Karibu Sana, Akwaba, Saubona, Ekabo.
Good morning and welcome to African Energy Week 2025. I'm Amena Bakr.
Thank you. And I am Richmond Osuji. And together we will be driving this opening ceremony as your masters of ceremonies. Talking about driving, let us now get to the very first official remarks of this opening ceremony. I would like to welcome a man who's been driving the vision to invest in Africa for many years across the globe, giving Africa a seat on tables where energy is discussed, giving Africa a voice where they want to drown the hydrocarbons industry, but most importantly, the vision of the reason we are here today. The executive chairman of African Energy Chamber, welcome with me, the game changer, the erudite, NJ Ayuk. Good morning. You already have breakfast? Good morning. Son Excellence, Monsieur le Premier Ministre, Anatole Makuso de Congo, that's where my French stops. Excellencies, ministers, captains of the industry, friends, and the protesters outside. They're not protesting me, they're protesting you, Eric Prince, and others. It is indeed an honor to be here at the 5th African Energy Week in a city many people call Cape Town, many call it Africa, we call it home. Welcome home. It is indeed a befitting moment, 5 years later. But 5 years ago, many of you in this room, you asked us to build something more than a conference. You asked us to build a movement that will speak up for our continent, that will speak up for an industry. The majority always said the industry is going to its extinction. Well, there was an extinction rebellion. It's really crazy kids in Europe. But we stood for an industry that said, this industry has been that has driven human flourishing, and we're going to stand. 5 years later, I am reporting that we did it. We did it, and we will continue, and we will not stop. I want to take this moment to recognize the AEC leadership, board members, country chairs. Can you please just stand? Don't be shy, they won't target you. Can you please just stand and be recognized? Good, thank you so much for all that you do. You have allowed me across the year to go through your cities, stayed in some of your homes for free. Like that it was an Airbnb, you didn't charge me. But it was very important. You gave us a chance to put Africa's voice on the big tables, in the big rooms. I could not say that without recognizing the Secretary General of the IEF who is here with us. Thank you so much. Thank you for always putting Africa right there. The Secretary General of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum, and certainly my big brother and friend, Dr. Omar Farouk Ibrahim of Apple. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you. They actually invited me to the Clean Energy Ministerial Forum. I was shocked, but I said yes. I did go. It was far. I went to Busan, and I got to Busan. But here's what happened in Busan. For the first time, the US Secretary of Energy put forward a landmark proposal to make clean energy using LPG to drive up Africa's growth by dealing with clean cooking. Clean cooking is a big issue. We cannot forget how many people, some say 500,000, I put out 1 million, people who die every year because of lack of clean cooking fuels, and they have to use biomass. That is an issue that we must address. And we cannot come to a place where we don't address that using beautiful green LPG to solve our clean cooking problems. So from Busan to Cape Town, to Cairo, to Dakar, to Lomé, LPG is going to be big, and we are going to use it, and we will not stop. Exploration for energy. The state of African energy is resilient, and it continues to go strong. Liberia just signed a few new blocks with Total Energies. Maybe Mike Sansa will tell us what he signed. We're hoping that Mike puts more money in Africa next year. But maybe he might tell us about Mozambique. I don't know. They say I shouldn't talk about gossip, so I don't do TMZ. But we're hoping that project starts in Mozambique, because it's time for a country like Mozambique to drive that green gas, so beautiful green gas that we could use across our continent. Who would not want good gas in Africa? It's a gas game, because they're using it everywhere. And I dare someone tell Africans to stop, because we're not stopping. But as we try to drive up oil, gas, and fancy energies, it's really important that we do our own job. As we heard this morning from a very, very beautiful performance, we got some work to do. Work to do to deal with our above ground rates. I'll tell you this, the energy industry can take care of all the soft surface issues.
but they can't deal with our above ground risk issues. That's our job to do. That's our job to do. We need to move fast. We got a window of opportunity to drive up this industry. But can still do that by doing some of the things that keep us back. And that's why I urge the public leaders here, the ministers, Mr. Prime Minister, when we sign deals, cut delays, cut red tape, get some of these bureaucrats that hold things from moving. Our continent is moving. That's how we get drill baby drill done. That's how we get it. We need to sign those agreements. Approvals stuck with bureaucrats for such a long time that are not being approved. It shouldn't take 5, 10, sometimes 20 years to approve projects. We have projects. Whoever thought that Congo Brazzaville would be doing 2 floating LNGs? But they said gas was dead in Congo, but these guys from ENI did so good. They did the Tango, they did Nguya and everything. Got Saipem. They don't spend money. They're really cheap guys. But they got the job done fast. Yes, I said it, they're cheap. Saipem, they don't even want to buy a ticket here. You know. I love you. But it's really important we pay attention to the fiscals. The game is going to change. And it's the fiscals, baby. That's what's going to make us better. The future for us in Africa is not for us to predict. It's for us to create. And we have a moment where we can create that future. And we'll create that future. We start an African Renaissance where young kids can believe in our continent, where you can do business and government can get more revenue. We create jobs, because at the end of the day, that's what our industry is about. It's about jobs. But we also know that we have to deal with some of these issues. Besides of putting pressure on African leadership to move, it's also very important that we deal with the clear discrimination. I call it financial apartheid, where gas is growing for the few in Europe that can afford it, but gas is not growing in Africa, so they can finance this. We need to stop these exclusionary rules, and we need to also deal with development banks like multilateral institutions, which their first cut is oil and natural gas financing. That discriminatory rule led us to take on the banks to say, get back to the table or we will sue you. Because you can't use African pension funds, save it in your big financial institution, then don't fund African energy development. That is wrong, and we would not stop. That's our next battle. And believe you me, I'm going to stick up the pressure. Some of you might not like what I tweet about them, but that's how you get them to listen. South Africa, I love this country. But South Africa is a mess when it comes to oil and gas development. You can't shoot seismic because you get a few, I don't know what to call them. They protest, litigate, sue you, bog you down in courts, so you can't even shoot seismic. You realize a country with load shedding, lack of energy. Namibia is doing amazing with amazing discoveries in Namibia. They just have only 20% of that orange basin. 80% of that orange river is in South Africa. And you can't get it moving. It's time to pass legislation. Cut out this red tape. Move it so that companies who are here, they can drill, they can make it happen. And I close with this. You know, you got people like, where's Katrina? Katrina Fisher. Please stand up. She has been a champion for STEM development with excellence. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you. Thank you. Adriano from Azule, you've done well. You get the job done. We like guys like you. Thank you so much. You did amazing with Agogo. Francois, was that you see? He's from Parenco. He's probably cutting a deal somewhere. Thank you, Francois. Thank you for all that you do across Africa. But we are going to move with energy. I urge you not to stop. You heard these young people. Africa is urging you not to stop. We have a moment that our continent can produce every drop of hydrocarbons we can find. Unapologetically, we produce everything. You drill everywhere, so we get it. Those that say we shouldn't produce energy, it shouldn't be lost on us that they use the most energy, that Heathrow Airport uses more electricity than the country of Sierra Leone. And you want to tell me not to produce energy? No, we are going to keep producing. Our continent's time is now. And sometimes when we say drill, baby, drill, it means something special to us. Because it's drill, baby, drill that increases human flourishing and get Europe and most of the wealthy nations to work. It is drill, baby, drill that got a lot of people in wealthy societies to industrialize. Right now, they're digitalizing themselves. I don't know what they're doing. But it is drill, baby, drill that's going to get us to continue providing roads, schools, infrastructure for Africans that don't have it. It is drill, baby, drill that's going to put on the lights in our hospital that when we get a pandemic or something, we can move. It is drill, baby, drill that is going to keep us from having that, keep us with energy security that we need. That's why when you see around Africa, we really don't listen to this fancy energy stuff because we know what it means to not have energy. We know what it means to keep us away from the energy we need. I urge you to keep moving. I urge you to keep driving. I urge you to believe in an Africa where a child in our continent can have the same opportunities like a child in Norway. I like Norway. They're like drill, baby, drill capital of Europe. Those that call us to say we should leave our energy in the ground. I would say we continue pushing. If they want to decarbonize, that's their problem. The wealthy nations should decarbonize while African nations industrialize. Thank you so much for coming to Cape Town. Thank you so much for being here. Let's keep driving energy. God bless you.